Welcome, everyone. My name is Brittany Blankenship, and I'm an advisor on our Next Gen team at ALSAC, which is the fundraising and awareness organization for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. I am so excited to be here with you today. So today we're going to explore something that's both deeply personal and incredibly powerful, how to turn your passion into purpose. So I first want to start with defining what those words really mean. So passion is the spark here. It's what excites you, energizes you, and makes you feel alive. It's often tied to your interests, talents, or the things you love to do, even when no one's watching. Your purpose, on the other hand, is your why. It's the deeper reason behind your actions. It's how you use your passion to make a difference in the world, in your community, or even in one person's life. Passion is about what you love, and purpose is about why it matters. When you align the two, you create a life that's not only fulfilling, but impactful. And that's what we're here to talk about today. So, we're going to look at the inspiring story of Danny Thomas, the founder of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and how his passion for entertainment fueled a purpose that continues to save lives. I will also be sharing my own journey, how I discovered my spark and found a way to turn it into something meaningful through my work with the St. Jude Leadership Society. By the end, I hope you'll have the tools to reflect on your own passions and begin crafting a purpose statement that can guide your future. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the incredible work of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Our purpose, finding cures, saving children, is at the heart of everything we'll talk about today. St. Jude is a world-class children's hospital, a cutting-edge research institution, a degree-granting medical center, and a trusted nonprofit. The innovative and collaborative work that we are doing at St. Jude is actually helping to improve the standard of care for children everywhere, not just in the United States. Our purpose is clear: finding cures, saving children. We know it's at stake, we're in this together, and we are not going to give up until we find a cure. Ask yourselves, if not St. Jude, then who? First, St. Jude is a research institution that is leading the way the world understands, treats, and defeats childhood cancer and other life-threatening diseases. Unlike a normal children's hospital, St. Jude doesn't have an emergency room, and we don't treat broken bones or other pediatric conditions. Our work in research and treatment is actually defining new and better ways for doctors everywhere to treat children with cancer. Doctors often send their patients to St. Jude when current treatments are not effective or the resources are not available to treat their specific illness. And when a doctor refers a patient to St. Jude, they stay in touch with the St. Jude care team to follow their patient's progress and provide ongoing consultations after they return home. Families never receive a bill from St. Jude for treatment, travel, housing, or food, so they can focus on helping their child live. At perhaps the most emotional time in their lives, St. Jude gives families the peace of mind, knowing that they will never receive a bill for all the treatment and care their child receives now and for the future. And nobody else provides that level of unqualified support. When St. Jude opened in 1962, and we will talk about the opening, childhood cancer was considered incurable. A diagnosis of cancer was considered by many to be a death sentence. In fact, our first medical director was deemed to be committing career suicide by his peers, focusing his efforts on such a hopeless disease. Since then, St. Jude has helped push the overall survival rate from 20% when we first opened to more than 80% today. But 80% isn't good enough. St. Jude is striving for 90% survival rates, and we won't stop until no child dies from cancer. Our founder, Danny Thomas, was an incredible visionary who believed that no child should die in the dawn of life. So let's talk about the man behind the mission, Danny Thomas. What led one man to build a world-renowned children's research hospital that's still thriving over 60 years later? This is where passion meets purpose. Danny wasn't a doctor or a scientist. He was an entertainer, but he had a deep desire to help children and make a lasting impact. His story is a powerful example of how your unique gifts can fuel something much bigger than yourself. In the 1930s and 40s, Danny Thomas was a struggling actor in Detroit with a baby on the way. He was at a crossroads in life. After attending Mass, he placed his last $7 in the collection box and prayed to St. Eustathius, the patron saint of hopeless causes. He said, "Show me my way in life and I will build you a shrine." The very next day, he got a job that paid 10 times what he had given. That moment became his spark. While most people would have forgot that solemn promise he made in that Detroit church, Danny did not. As he rose to fame in the 1950s and 60s, he used his platform and connections to bring his vision to life. On February 4th, 1962, Danny Thomas opened St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in front of 9,000 supporters. He unveiled a statue of St. Jude Thaddeus, which still stands at the hospital today. Danny once said, "If I were to die this moment, I would know why I was born." That quote captures the heart of today's message. His passion, entertaining and connecting with people, became the fuel for his purpose, saving children's lives. Passion is the spark, but purpose gives it direction. While I am no Danny Thomas, we do share something in common. I knew what I wanted and I went straight after it, just like this arrow here. False. My journey was not linear. I've had twists and turns in my career, but each step taught me something else. I always knew I wanted to use my creativity and personal experiences to uplift others. That was my spark. It took me a while to A, discover this, and B, align it to my purpose. Throughout my journey, which I will share with you now, I want you to notice the pull back to that passion for creating and sharing, even when I strayed. So this is a more accurate representation of my path, but narrowed down because I can only fit so many twists and turns on a screen. And I'm going to share this with you because it's something I wish someone had shared with me. Your path to success doesn't have to be a straight line. It's okay to explore, pivot, and grow, and every experience, good or bad, and there will be bad ones, can help shape your purpose. What matters is staying true to what excites you and being open to where it leads. I'm going to start where you are, high school. So I went to here. I went to an all-girls college preparatory high school in Southern Louisiana. I, like probably most of you, had a 4.0 GPA and was enrolled in as many AP classes as I could fit in my schedule, except for AP Calculus BC because I was not a math girl. I was the public relations officer for several of our clubs. I was in student government. My campaign slogan one year was "to be or not to be." It's not even a question. So if you have double B initials, feel free to steal it. It's a winner. I wanted to be a large animal vet when I was in high school. And then I wanted to be in general, go into the medical field. And then someone spoke at our career fair and she owned a clothing boutique. So I wanted to do that. And then finally I settled on journalism. So again, lots of twists and turns, even in my high school choices. I loved reading and I still do, and with that came an interest in writing. So I decided to go to Rhodes in Memphis, Tennessee, and I had a great 4 years there. Kidding again. I fell in love with Rhodes. The campus is beautiful. I did overnight stays to make sure it was the right fit. I accepted my scholarship and was ready to go. My best friend was also going, and it was going to be great. We were so excited. Except it was 5 hours away from home, and I'm super close with my family. So I changed my mind about 2 months out from graduation and went to LSU. Again, the twists and turns are okay. So at LSU, I enrolled in the Honors College. LSU is a very large campus, but enrolling in an honors college makes it feel so much smaller. I mentioned that I wanted to go into journalism, so the Manship School of Mass Communication is the college that major sits under there. I told you there were twists. So about a year and a half into college, I realized that I really loved advertising way more than journalism. So I think you can kind of pick up on that pull to a more creative side here. I graduated from LSU with a BA in mass communication with a focus in advertising, and I minored in business and French, which are very different from what I had originally set out to do. I went on to work for a small ad agency in New Orleans, and I quickly realized something that unfortunately most women deal with. As a woman, I was treated different and used, honestly, because of my gender, my looks, and my age. I thought that adding some more letters behind my name would help, so I applied to graduate school. Lots of twists, guys. I attended and graduated from Loyola University in New Orleans with my master's in business administration. I had an educational weight to add to my resume, and I felt that that would actually lift up my name and give me some credibility. It worked, but not so much in my favor. So this is a great time to point out that if you are heavily educated with little experience, you may struggle to find a job like I did. I did eventually find a job working for a civil engineering firm. So I know we have strayed big time from what I had originally wanted to do. I was a project and grant manager there, and I focused on managing FEMA grants for local governments. But I also started handling our firm's marketing, and I branched into business development. I helped start and joined a local young professional network and offered my creative talents to designing all of our materials. So logos, flyers, social posts. I also started doing this on the side as a side hustle, just designing logos and materials for local businesses. So you name it, if it was a creative outlet for me, I was doing it. I also started participating in local leadership development programs in different nearby cities, and I really loved that, but I didn't love my actual job. Which brings me here to St. Jude. A position opened, and I jumped at the opportunity to do something different, to join an organization where I felt like I could make a difference. When I joined ALSAC almost 8 years ago and began working with the St. Jude Leadership Society, I found my purpose, helping students grow as leaders while supporting the mission of St. Jude. I'm able to align my passion, which again was that creativity and that creative outlet, by crafting this program to meet the needs of our next generation. So, very twisty, very turny, but again, your path to success does not need to be a straight line. Mine was not. Many people do not have straight career paths. So how do you find that alignment? I was able to find it, but let's break that down. So think about these three questions. What excites you? What problems do you care about? And what skills do you enjoy using? When you find the intersection of those things, you're getting close to your purpose. So here is a simple formula: passion plus strengths plus service equals purpose. Your spark doesn't have to be huge, it just has to be yours. So passion isn't always obvious. It's okay if you don't know your passion yet. Many people discover it through trial and error. Again, it took me a while to decide what mine was or discover what mine was. I just kept going back to that creative side over and over. And then it hit me that that is something I am super passionate about. Passion often starts as curiosity or interest and grows through experience. So look for clues in your daily life. What do you love to do when no one's watching? What topics or activities make you feel energized or fulfilled? And what do you naturally gravitate towards in conversation, media, or hobbies? Passion can be multifaceted. You might have more than one passion, and that's awesome. I personally find many of my passions in creative outlets, like I mentioned, not just through designing things, but also woodworking. I build my own furniture sometimes, which is very odd, but another passion of mine. Think about how different passions can intersect. So art and advocacy, or science and service. And your passion can evolve over time. So it may shift as you grow, learn, and experience new things. So stay open to change and exploration. So we're going to talk about this spark method right here. We talked about sparking that passion, and sparking that purpose. So we're going to look through each of these, and kind of create a purpose statement for you. So we're starting out with S. Seek what excites you. So what activities make you lose track of time? What topics do you love to learn or talk about? One thing that I like to do is list a couple of things that energize or inspire me, and you can do that here if you want to follow along so that you can have your purpose statement at the end. P is going to be pinpoint your strengths. So what are you naturally good at? What do others often come to you for help with? You can write down 3 of your strengths or talents that you feel confident in, and that can be anything from I'm good at math, or it could be I'm not personally, or it could be I'm really good with speaking to audiences, or I am good with helping others find their way. And then we're going to move on to A for acknowledge your story. So, what life experiences have shaped you? What challenges have you overcome? Those all tie into your passion and your purpose. So you can reflect on one personal experience that taught you something important about yourself and the world, and that will be helpful in crafting your purpose statement. For R, recognize who you want to help. So who do you feel called to support, uplift, or serve? What causes matter to you? You can identify a group, an issue, or a community that you care deeply about and mark that down. And then we're going to move into purpose statements. So how can you combine your passion, strengths, and story, that SPAR, and create a purpose statement? So you can do this by saying, I want to use my passion for blank and my strength in blank to help blank because blank. So I'm going to walk you through that again. So I want to use my passion for, here's where you would list your passion. So one of those S's, what excites you? And my strength in, you can list one of your strengths under the P line. So when we pinpointed our strengths, which one of those is going to help you with your passion? To help are, who do you want to help? So that's where you're going to fill in the community or the group that you are going to help with your passion and your strength. Because blank, this is going to be why it's personal to you. Maybe you can tie in a story of why that impacted you. Again, go back to acknowledging your own story. If something impacts you personally, it's often easier to be passionate about that and share that passion with others. So this is a great exercise to walk you through your passion, your strengths, in order to create a purpose statement for yourself. So I want to challenge you to take this next step. Reflect on your passions, think about how you can use them to serve others. If you're looking for a place to start, consider joining the St. Jude Leadership Society. This is where I'm going to plug what I love. So this is a chance to grow as a leader, connect with your peers, and support a cause that truly matters. SJLS is a distinguished membership of high-performing high school students who are interested in giving back through service and leadership. Applications are open at stjude.org/SJLS, and leadership development sessions kick off in January. I'm going to share here that we have multiple cohorts that meet in person or virtually. Most of them are on the eastern part of the country, but if you do not see a cohort in your area, we do have a national online cohort, which I will be leading this coming year, so you can join the national online cohort with me. So as we wrap up, I'd love to hear your thoughts or questions about Danny Thomas, my journey, or how you can start aligning your passion with purpose. I will leave you with this quote from Danny Thomas: "Success has nothing to do with what you gain in life or accomplish for yourself. It's what you do for others." So what will you build with your spark? Thank you. Open to any questions. And I think if you have a question, you can put it in the Q&A box. Any? Okay. If there are no questions, I will let y'all go early. I put my contact information on here, and remember, you can apply for SJLS at stjude.org/SJLS. Thank you so much.